Central Texas. Welcome to Kiss Community Connections, 103.1 Kiss FM. I'm Phyllis Jones, your host for this morning. A lot of people ask me about a topic, so I decided to cover it on radio. But then my guests are falling off like I don't know what. I mean, really, seriously. People, oh yeah, I'm coming. This is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm going to say. And some of them didn't show up. So you know what to that I'll say is, if you're going to talk it, walk it. If you're not, don't say it. But anyway, the topic is the transgender bathroom. You know, when we heard about it, when it started last year, a lot of people said it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And, so people ignored it. Normally when we do that and ignore things, it doesn't go away. You should be, in the times of now, everybody should know that we need to be politically smart about certain things, because when you don't, things pass and you have no idea how they got there. Things pass and you didn't want them to, and you suddenly want to know why. Well, why is because you didn't pay attention. Why is because you just went to sleep somewhere and assumed that it was something wasn't going to happen. So with the transgender bathroom issue, when it first came up, I only remember it with Target. I don't know why, but the first thing hit me was Target when I heard about it, and I was totally confused. I'll admit that I was totally confused because I was trying to figure out, where did this come from? Because as an adult, many times women have been in the adult bathroom, and you've seen, I guess you want to say, a gay man walk in the bathroom, and to us, first we laugh, and we laugh, and then we're like, dang, he put no makeup better than I am. And we do. And people going to say, no, we know. Yes, we do. That's what we say, because you're like, they put on makeup better than us. How? Why? Well, they just do sometimes. So, and we just left it as that. I mean, most women just left it as that because it happened, and we weren't offended because, one, we knew he wasn't going to bother us, and two, if he did, we'd take him out. And that was it. That is the truth. So people might say, no, she didn't say that. Yes, I did. So we never had a problem with it, but we never thought about the flip side. We never thought about the female who was a lesbian and would go into the men. That didn't cross our mind. It didn't. And why, I don't know, because it just didn't. Certain things don't cross your mind just because they just don't. You'd figure that the woman who was a lesbian would still come into the women's bathroom, most likely. I mean, you never thought about the other way around. But guess what? We went from just the talk of transgender bathroom issue. We've taken it from Target and other stores, Walmart. We've taken it from the stores, and we brought it to settings. And what I mean by settings, we brought it to school settings. And most people go, that wasn't what the bill was about. Yes, it was. If you actually read it, it did say that. So it went from going to where you thought it was, to most people thought, to now it's in school settings. It went to offices. It went to federal government. It went from a thought, a plan, and just people talking to actually being voted on as a bill. And in Texas, if you pay attention, to which I say most people haven't, it passed this week the first hurdle. It passed the first hurdle. Now, our lovely lieutenant governor is saying when it gets to him, he's going to veto it. He said when it gets to him, gets to his desk. But it did pass. It did pass the first hurdle. In fact, it passed 23-10 vote this week. And they're urging the lieutenant governor to do what he's supposed to be doing. Now, the same bill that Texas has is not the same bill that North Carolina's bill is. Ours is slightly different, but the basics are still the same. Yes, it's called the Transgender Bathroom bill. Why it got named? I mean, people say why it got named that. I don't know. I wasn't part of that. Writing the bill, I don't know, but that's where it was. And, last night I posted on Facebook about the show, and I had people actually telling me that it's not going to make it, which means they didn't know that it passed the first hurdle. And when I said back it passed the first hurdle, thought my Facebook post was going to fall off somewhere because the highway opened up and they're like, it passed what? I'm like, it passed the first hurdle. Where were you? Right. So people at that point was like, wait a minute, hold up. Then guess what? People woke up and start weighing in. Why you gonna weigh in on me on Facebook? I don't know, because I'm not a lieutenant governor. Don't look like him. We have the same name, but all of a sudden people are like, well, who do I contact? You know, all of a sudden now it's who do I contact? What do I do? I mean, I had people for, against, in the middle. One lady said that they need to just put stalls and all the separate bathroom doors in all the bathrooms, and that would be crazy, because school district ain't gonna spend that kind of money. But I had a whole highway going on. If I could have put my show from Facebook on, it would have been crazy. But people woke up to tell me, "Oh, it's not gonna pass, Phyllis. So what you worried about it for?" Did pass the first hurdle. What? Yes, I got the whats. So now that it has passed the first hurdle, do you still have time to weigh in? Of course you do. You can weigh in your pros, your cons. In the middle, you can't do in the middle because there's no such vote for the middle. And I mean, I know people that are in the middle of the road on the issue, but you either got to vote for or against. You can't say I'm in the middle, because, like I said, that doesn't answer the question. And it doesn't give you anything, too. So that's where the bill is right now. It was supposed to come back up on Thursday, but it didn't. So when it's going to come up for a vote with the lieutenant governor, we don't know, because he hasn't said yet. What he's waiting on, don't know that either. But that's where it is right now. So anyway, I do have guests. I actually have 4. And one of my guests is a young person. She's in middle school. And, you know, since to me, in Phyllis's opinion, it affects school-age children differently than it does adults. It actually does. So we're going to talk to 4 people, and they're going to introduce themselves, and then we're going to go into our lovely discussion of the transgender bill. And will I give you my thoughts? Of course I am. Of course I am. I wouldn't be me if I didn't. But first I'm going to introduce my guests. Well, they're going to introduce themselves.
Hi, Phyllis. I'm Irene Andrews. I live in Nolanville. Retired KISD teacher and out lesbian.
She had to say the word retired. You know, had to throw the word retired in there. Okay.
Hi, I'm Tanisha Nash, better known as Tiger Nash. I'm the author of Trapped in Both Worlds, Part 1. And
you got a movie coming out, right?
Yes, I have a movie coming out this summer. It'll be called Confined, and it'll be based on Trapped in Both Worlds.
So
we'll be finished with it in the summer.
Now my city gonna be in it, right?
Your city's in it.
The best city in the United States.
Detroit, Michigan. We shooting it in Detroit, Michigan. We actually waiting on the okay, either to do it in Atlanta or Detroit. So we on the rebound right now.
It's gotta be in Detroit now.
We trying to push for Detroit,
because you know I'm gonna protest your book.
Okay.
If it's not in Detroit.
Oh, please don't.
I'm gonna protest.
We gonna do it. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of scenes shot in Detroit.
Okay.
But we got Detroit in it, so don't worry about it.
Okay, because you know I was gonna hold up my personal protest.
Right. Okay. Here I'm gonna pass the mic now.
Hi, fellas. I'm Alina Nash. I'm Tiger Nash's wife. So I'm here with my opinion.
Just say good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, yes. That's all y'all gonna get from her. I'm sorry. I that's it. That's it. And does she have a question? Yes. Did I give her question early? Of course I did, because she's a child. The adults, did I give them the questions ahead of time? Of course not. Okay, now for these three, the bill was written. So I'm gonna ask Irene, because Irene is more the political one than I'll say. I won't say the other two, but she is that one. Okay,
I'm a stoner too.
Yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, what is the Stonewall Democrats for people who don't know?
The Stonewall Democrats are kind of an arm of the Democratic Party that has to do with the LGBT community, so that we can get together and we can share our concerns and be represented on a local and national level in politics. One of our main goals is to vet candidates to see where they stand on LGBT issues, and to support and encourage LGBT folks to run for office.
Okay, I have a crazy question, and I'm going to ask my crazy question because I'm protesting. You all are taking too many letters of the alphabet. Because because okay, I got the LGBT. Then all of a sudden I'm reading something and there's a QIA. Y'all can handle more letters of the alphabet. But anyway, so because then, you know, when I said the whole thing one day, I thought I was saying a paragraph. And yes, it's me. So everybody in here know that I am the one who would say that. What's the QIA? And where did it come from? I thought it fitted in there with the...
Well, I think as time goes on, people understand that gender is fluid. By that I mean that it isn't just binary, meaning male and female. There are some folks who are more asexual. And it used to be that no one really talked about it, but they do talk about it now. And there are people who identify with both male and female. And it's not so much, you know, it can get complicated, but the simple answer is that we understand gender on a wide spectrum. And because of that, there are people identifying all along that gender line, all the way from what they would consider, they call themselves queer, which is kind of a big umbrella term for someone in the LGBT community. And they don't really want to identify as gay or as lesbian or as transgender or as bisexual, but they see themselves a member of the queer community. So
but we as the I'll say the community said that the word anyway. I mean, you know what I mean? We use that word anyway. So
well, and they're kind of taking it back. There's a lot of elders in the LGBT community who were very hurt by the word queer, and but now it's been taken back by the community themselves as a word that has pride for who we are. And so we don't allow it to be used in a derogatory term anymore.
Okay, well, so y'all can't handle more letters of the alphabet. I'm just saying.
I didn't know about those.
Wait, hold on, Tiger. How you not know?
I didn't know. Y'all just said it.
Oh, okay, now how do you figure that one? I would know she wouldn't. Okay, but anyway.
Did you know it?
No.
See?
I would encourage you, Phyllis, to have.
Read.
You know what? You need to have the GSA from CTC here. You need to have the young people here and let them explain it.
That's who does all that. We older cats, we sit back.
Well, see, I looked at somebody Facebooked me, and they put all that on there. So if anybody knows me, I'm gonna study something. So I had to figure out what all the other three letters meant, and I did. And then I called the person back, and I said the same thing I'm saying. You don't take no more letters of the alphabet, because we need some letters left for somebody. and the person understood. I was laughing when I was saying that, but. Yeah, I did find that out because somebody put it on my Facebook post, and I'm like, what in the world is that? And I went to look because I need to know, because I don't want anybody to catch me. I really don't. I hate being caught off guard, especially with something that I should know of today. Mm-hmm. So I had to go read and research it. Okay, but now, the transgender bathroom issue. Did you know it was going to go as far as it went, or did you kind of, where's it going to go? Where were you?
Well, we are living in Texas, Phyllis. And you know, being an out lesbian in this state, I have seen lots of things happen over time. And I was there 2 years ago when there was all the hullabaloo about same-sex marriage and the freedom to marry. We knew it was coming down the pike. We didn't know if the Supreme Court was going to pass it or not. But I was in subcommittees, and I stood up and spoke, and I listened to hours of vitriol conversations and testimonies, and it was a real eye-opener because, you know, I live in Killeen, and Killeen is, in my opinion, more forward-thinking, more open, I think a lot because of Fort Hood, people coming in and out from other places throughout the country. You aren't in just one kind of tiny mindset that continues for generation after generation. This is an area that's very eclectic and fluid, and so you have a lot of people who influence kind of how we think because they come from other areas and they say, well, you know, it shouldn't be that way. But in Texas overall, I was not surprised when the bathroom bill was brought up here.
So do you agree
after what happened in North Carolina?
Yeah. So do you agree with the entire bill or parts of the bill?
I don't agree with any part of the bill.
Okay, what's your take? Because it was written differently than it was presented.
Well, the whole
it was
idea,
written one way, but it was,
the deal is that Texas continues to believe that they can legislate discrimination and get away with it. And they continue to say states' rights trump federal rights. They did it with marriage equality. They're trying to do it again using this kind of bill. And, we just know that when you try to legislate discrimination, number one, it's bad for business. We've seen that in North Carolina. It's devastating to their economy. And that's just a monetary standpoint. I'm more looking at it from a moral standpoint. I'm looking at it that you don't discriminate against and disenfranchise a group of people in the United States of America in 2017. We are supposed to be past that.
But then Tiger, I want to talk to you. It's become a bill where you've got organizations, you got corporations, you have sports teams, I won't name the teams, who said that if the bill passes, they're not coming to Texas. So since most states, and I'll say it is, most states, revenue means more than people. You know what I mean? It means more.
That's the truth. Many times.
That bill has got a heavy weight on it as far as money than it does people. I see that as the only, what you want to call it? I see that as the bigger picture from on the state side than local people are thinking. Mm-hmm. You know, if you know what I mean, because like I said, locally I understand what you're saying, but statewide I see what they're saying. You know what I mean? They're talking about the revenue that could come in to Texas versus people. All right, Tiger, how you doing?
I'm great. Hey, community, how you guys doing out there?
Listen, transgender bill.
Okay.
We're gonna take, and I'm gonna bring Irene back because I know Irene's view is slightly little different. How do you feel about it in the adult side of the house?
Well, I feel like myself, I experienced it when I go into the women bathroom.
Right.
They put me out.
The women.
You're in the wrong bathroom, sir. You're in the wrong bathroom. So, I'll be like, okay, for them to have their privacy, maybe they do think that I'm a guy. So I just be like, okay, I'm out. So I just leave and I go in the men's bathroom.
And what happens?
Nothing. They be like, hey, what up? I be like, go and use the bathroom, wash my hands, and I'm out. So I feel like, it is something that we do need to address because it's kind of embarrassing going in there, getting put out as you being a female.
Yeah.
So I would say that the bill is absolutely wonderful when you're over 18. Now, when it comes to the school...
Wait. You went to over 18. What about school? Let's go to the short people, the elementary,
the short school.
Yeah,
right.
Little short people.
Because we're grown.
Right, you're grown.
We're grown.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to the children of an adult, my daughter, I don't want my daughter in the bathroom with no boy, period. So I feel like that they should have unisexual bathrooms. True enough. But not in together where the girls are with the boys. Now, if they have a own transgender bathroom for the boys and the girls,
right,
that would be absolutely wonderful for me. So, but until I spoke with my wife last night, we had a conversation, and she told me another point that had me looking a different way because of all the bullying going on and the jumping on the gay guys and the brutality that's going on. So I looked at it like, yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it's like a tug of war.
But I'm gonna use the elementary school, so I work in one.
Right, you work there.
Elementary kids are the worst and the most, I guess I'll say,
mouth.
they're hurtful. Elementary kids are, because they haven't got it yet.
Right. They haven't got it yet.
They haven't got the mind. Either way it go, they're the vicious little children, because they don't care what they say.
Right.
And they're not old enough to be, I guess I would say, the responsible and respectful one, because they're elementary kids.
Absolutely.
And we expect, and I know people going to kill me, but we expect that from them. Not the viciousness so much, but we expect them to lose it or to say something, because they're still growing.
Absolutely.
So we do correct them, you know, but still, when you have that issue coming into an elementary school, it's totally different than a middle school and a high school. Totally. Because I know certain things continue on to get worse, but elementary school kids would be the one to laugh, to throw soap, and they would do all those crazy things. Yeah, elementary kids would,
because they don't really understand it.
Right. So what do you think about in elementary schools, the transgender issue?
Absolutely not.
Irene got her hands on her hip.
She's ready.
She's like, oh, I'm ready.
Absolutely not. I mean, I feel like it's a choice. That's going to really confuse them to me. You know what I'm saying? It's your choice to be, whether you're going to be straight, whether you're going to be gay. That's going to start a whole bunch of chaos in their minds of saying, oh, I want to be a girl, or I want to be a boy. You know, it's born in us. You know what I'm saying? Irene ready to come in on the mic right now.
She gonna. I think
she ready to chew me up.
Yeah, she is.
But see, that's why I ain't want to go against my stoner, because we got two different opinions. So.
Well, you know what? But that's a good thing, because what it says that, okay, African American, we don't all have the same opinion. I'm glad we don't.
Right.
The gay and lesbian community, you don't have the same opinion, and it's good.
Absolutely.
Because if you are all the same opinion, y'all all crazy.
Right.
I will say that. If any group of people got the same opinion, they're all crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're not individual thinkers. So, I mean, your opinion on elementary kids and thing, okay, that's your opinion. And to me, my opinion is, I don't think elementary kids are ready.
No,
they're not.
I mean,
and I don't even think the transgender, to me, elementary kids are, because
she's taking the mic from me. I'm sorry.
You know, I don't think so. Wait, hold up. I'm gonna make Irene wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Come on.
I want some more smoke coming out of her head.
I'm sorry, because it's smoke.
Go ahead, Irene.
Smoke over here.
Hey, I just have a couple things to say. Number one, I love you, Phyllis. I love you, Tiger. And I'm glad we're all here today.
Yes.
And everything we're talking about speaks to the issue that adults need to have these conversations.
Yes.
And I thank you for this, Phyllis.
Yes.
I want the adults listening to have this conversation. Mm-hmm. Children do not respond the way they do out of a vacuum.
Right.
They are responding based on the modeling they're receiving from parents. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Right.
Children in the 60s didn't spit on other kids because they had that thought in their own head.
Yes, we did.
They had that thought because they saw what parents were doing. So how we treat each other is very important, and how we model to our children is very important. And I've seen a lot of kids who are respectful and loving to transgender children who are their peers. I do not accept that kids just come out being mean or disrespectful. That is on us, not on them. So parents and adults, you need to step up. You need to have these conversations with yourselves, and then you need to understand that we're talking about human beings here that need equal respect. And if you walked a mile in those children's shoes, if you spoke to the parents of transgender children and saw their hearts breaking, you would have to think twice before you hold opinions that legislate discrimination.
But you know, I see what you're saying. My other part to that is, yes, parents need to have a conversation, but you have a lot of parents who have not had that conversation.
That's right.
But you also have children who in kindergarten saw whoever, I'll say Betty, in kindergarten, and knew Betty was Betty in kindergarten.
Right.
But they get to third grade. Third graders are like, whoo, children, man. Anyway, third grade is when they think they're grown today, and then they're not grown 10 minutes from now, and then they're babies 3 seconds from now, then they're grown again. They are. But this child sees Betty now becoming a little more like Leon.
Right.
And nobody's talked about it.
Right.
Nobody's talked to this
Absolutely.
kid. Nobody said nothing negative or positive. Parents just didn't say anything. Because let's face it, to a lot of parents, the gay and lesbian community is not new. But talking about it to your elementary child is new. Now, you might say it's not, but it is new. It's new. So a lot of households, it's not talked down about. It's just not talked about. Okay, so now you got this third grader who sees Betty now dressing as Leon. That child, the other child who sees that is now confused. And when kids are confused, a couple of things happen. Either they're going to laugh at you to death or they're going to bully you one or the way or the
Absolutely.
other. Because that's a child's defense mechanism. And it's not that they were taught that at home. It's not that they just saw something really weird and it became either funny or I'm going to harass you about it because they haven't been talked about. And in a lot of homes, it will not be talked about.
Right, absolutely.
You know, I'll say as much, and I'm not comparing the two, but okay, let's say HIV. People didn't talk about it. It was considered the dirty little sex word.
Absolutely.
But now you find you can get it from other places, other ways. But people still ground bonding and talking about it. So we have child abuse. People don't talk about it. They lift the carpet, sweep it under, put it down. So people are not talking about it. So what we can't say kids are learning it from home because some of them aren't because they don't hear it. But kids are gathering their own opinions, which becomes a bigger issue. So like I said, to me, I'm against it for elementary school because, because I know what I hear. I mean, I hear in the hallway, and I stopped them because they were little pre-K people.
You should know of all people you're an elementary teacher.
They're the pre-K. One pre-K little girl was sitting there. She goes, I have two mommies and they can both bake cakes. I'm like, okay. So the kid next to us said, I got a mommy and a daddy. My daddy can't bake cakes. So these kids got into a discussion.
Right.
And didn't know what they were talking about. That's the problem. They didn't know what they were talking about. But one bragging about, I got two mommies and they both bake cakes. This kid over here, well, my daddy can't bake a cake. You know, they said, then other kids said, maybe you should have two mommies like me.
Right.
I stopped that conversation.
Right.
I actually stopped it and told them that your parents don't want y'all to talk about that at school.
And again,
because
as Irene said, it comes from home.
But what I'm saying is these kids' lifestyles are totally different. And the one saw a benefit. They didn't see the benefit of gay or lesbian. They didn't think about that. All they knew was he has two mommies and they both can bake cakes. And I have one mommy and my dad can't bake cakes. So maybe you should have two mommies so they both can bake. I'm like, whoo.
Right.
You know, so my thing was, no, your parents don't want nobody to talk about that, okay? They was like, why not? Because it's personal business. You know, and so I know the little pre-K probably went home and said he has two, whatever. But we need to talk about it, yes. But then again, I'm showing you the fact of our little kids talk about stuff and they don't have an idea of what they're talking about. They're just talking about what they see and what goes on at home.
Right.
So it's not talked about.
I think, Phyllis, it would have been a teachable moment to be able to acknowledge that.
But see, we
can't. The one little girl who has two moms should be just as accepted, just as normal, just as celebrated as anyone who has a mom and a dad, or maybe a kid with only a single mom.
But
there's all kinds of families.
But you got to think of this, and think of a little short 4-year-old as bragging rights that I got two moms who could bake cakes versus I got only one mom and my dad can bake cakes. That ended up being bragging rights that shouldn't have been in the bragging right issue because it doesn't belong there. But that was their conversation. And you saw the one getting kind of upset because he doesn't have two mothers and they both can't bake cakes. To me, it was hilarious because they didn't know what they were talking about, but I knew I needed to stop it because one was feeling that, well, maybe I need two moms so they can both bake cakes. So it wasn't about having two moms to have two moms. It was just so they could bake cakes. Right. And it went, but I stopped it because the one was getting kind of upset, and they were both to me, they didn't know what the heck they were talking about. They didn't understand what they were talking about. So that means side of elementary schools what I'm talking about. Parents don't talk about it. It's done. They don't talk about it. But, other kids, they say things. They see things on their own. They form their own opinion. So to me, elementary school, such as the law would tell you, elementary school kids aren't as responsible about certain things because they mentally haven't grown up yet. So I just feel that elementary kids, they need to just either put it in an educational wise, explain it, or else we'll have a nightmare.